This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal. Welcome back, we should say.
Welcome back.
This is season 4 of the podcast.
What?
We're starting season 4. Yep.
Incredible.
Isn't that wild?
What a longevity.
These aren't years. We but it has been like, what? I don't know. Almost 3 years, actually.
What?
Yeah.
Today is my daughter's 18th birthday.
It sure is. Happy birthday, Zoe.
I just thought of that because
the
I
day
thought...
that we're filming.
Yeah.
The day that you guys hear this, it
Yeah,
won't be.
I just thought when you said 3 years, like how fast things go by.
Yeah,
and
it
I
does.
remembered.
Yeah, it is her birthday, isn't it? Yeah.
She's an adult. We're kicking her out of the house today.
Yep.
Yep.
Have a nice life, Zoe.
Have a nice life. Good luck. Boop. No, never.
Well, we're starting a new series for this season, and the series is going to be Theology. Theology. I haven't decided what I'm going to name it. Yeah, I think we're going to name it Theology 101, and unless I can think of a better name.
Name it Theology.
Theology.
Have you seen my New Testament theology book?
No.
I got a New Testament theology book. This poor guy, I say this poor guy. This author wrote a New Testament theology, and he was probably so excited about it. Oh. And the first print run, on the front page, on the cover, it says New Testament theology.
Theology?
They forgot an O.
Oh, do you have it here?
If I might can find it, but it'd
right.
take a second.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Frank Stagg.
Okay, I don't know.
He's an old Baptist feller. I think he was at Beeson maybe back in the day. I'll find it for you.
That's funny though.
Yeah, New Testament theology.
So much work.
So much work. Can you imagine unwrapping that thing at your house, having like a book party, and you open it up, and you probably don't notice it at first.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you just glance.
You glance, you're not going to look at it,
yeah.
and somebody goes, Frank. Frank. And he's like, what?
What'd you think about that theology?
Oh, man. It's one of the best theology books I've ever read.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not, actually.
It's not very good?
It's
That's funny. So we're going to talk about theology. And what does that mean? That's because that's such a huge topic.
You want to talk about, like, basically what it means?
Well,
theology is, what do you call that theology?
Yeah.
Theos is God.
Yeah.
And logos is word.
Yeah.
So theology is kind of like a word about God. When you start talking about God or gods, you're doing theology because you're saying something about God.
And how that's used in language today is that word is the science of.
Yeah.
So like biology is a word about life, right? Yeah. And so it's the study of life. Theology is like the study of God. The science of God is.
It used to be called the Queen of the Sciences.
It used to be. Yep, that's what they said. Yep.
Because it was the foundation for the other works.
Yeah, and so if you went to university before 1900, it was almost always you studied theology. Like university was theology, law, and natural sciences, and you would study all of them. Like you would get. Oftentimes you would study all of those things, and so it was really foundational for learning in universities and all that kind of stuff. And but it's a huge topic, massive. There are subsections of theology. I mean, we're talking everything from the Trinity to how people are saved to the end times. We had a series on that. We probably won't do a lot on that.
That's one of the things that when you think you can't really say I'm not a theologian.
Oh, and that's that's a good thing.
Because you think about theology and people think, well, I'm not a biologist.
Yeah.
But no, you might not be a biologist and you might not be, quote, a theologian, but you shouldn't think of it as like an ivory tower kind of thing.
That's right.
If you're thinking about God, like if you've ever sat around and go, what was there before God, or how can God be forever? You're starting to do theology.
Yeah.
And
everyone is a theologian.
Everyone is a theologian. Everybody's a mathematician because you're like, how many miles do I got in my tank till I'm empty?
Yeah.
You got to start. How far can I go? How long will it take me?
Yeah.
So, just like you're doing math, you may not have a degree in mathematics, but you got to do math. And you have to do theology.
Yeah,
everyone
has a belief about God, and that belief might be I don't I believe there is
and
one.
whatever it
Yeah.
is you believe,
Yeah.
okay, think about this. Whatever it is you believe, I don't care if somehow you came on this and you're an atheist. If you're an atheist, how you got there is your theology. How you arrived at what you believe is your theology.
Yeah.
And you should examine that. Everyone should. I do all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
In fact, we had like a 2-hour conversation yesterday where I deconstructed my whole life of theology.
The idea that everyone's a theologian is really important, especially
Yeah.
as you're listening to this, because maybe you're like, well, I'm not a pastor. Or a lot of people say things like, I'm not a big theology person. I don't like theology. I'm like, well, yeah, you do.
You do.
Do you love Jesus?
Uh-huh.
Do you love the God that saved you from your sins?
Or even more simply, do you have questions about why you're here?
Yeah. Yeah. Really big, important questions like why pain?
Yeah. Why bad?
Why bad?
evil?
Why good? Why does anything have meaning?
Yeah.
Like, all those things are super important. Like, why does it matter what you do as a person in your
philosophy
family? You know?
philosophy and theology are twin brothers.
Yeah, that's right. They are. And so theology is super important. Like, everyone has a theology. You just might not have a good theology.
No.
Or it might not be, and what I mean by that is it might not be based on truth. It might be based on cultural hearsay. It might be based on...
You may have contradictions in your own theology because it's unexamined. That
Yep.
happens to everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of times. You may have hypocritical theology, things that you apply to yourself and things that you apply to others.
But you are a theologian.
That's
like, dear listener, you are a theologian.
And I would say what you think about God or religion, however you want to say it, is the most important thing about you.
Yeah. And so if this is like a universal study, everyone's doing this at some level. Our idea for this podcast series is what if you could get the kind of information that your pastors get when they go to seminary and they take their theology classes? What if you can get that information? Because you can. And you can read the books, or you can listen to us. And that's our goal, is like what we're thinking this series, we're gonna give you that info. Like, we're gonna talk about the things that we learned in seminary and the books that we read, and we're gonna present it to you as if you get seminary light. You don't have to do any of the papers. You don't have to do all that.
I don't feel like it's fair, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's doing papers anymore. I'm afraid they're going, hey,
ChatGPT.
hey, Grok, what is?
That's very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're just gonna have the conversation about all the things. We're gonna start in an area. We'll finish in another area, and there are so many topics in theology. We're gonna try to do most of it.
We're going to do our best not to make it too cerebral.
Yeah.
But some of it is deep, and you got to think about it.
Yeah. An example, like my very first theology class I ever went into, I had no idea what I was getting into. I went to seminary, or I went to Bible college on a whim.
Yeah.
Like I was in a music program at UAB, and I had 5 classes left to graduate, and those 5 classes were going to take 2.5 years because my advisor didn't help me out, and I didn't know how to take them in order. I didn't know I had to take these in this specific order, so it was going to take me 2.5 years. And I was like, man, this guy that's teaching at our church on Wednesday nights, he's the president of Southeastern Bible College. And he was like, why don't you transfer and finish at Southeastern? It's like, I don't know. What could I like? How much would that be? All that kind of stuff. And he was like, you can do it in 2 years, and you'll have a Bible degree too. And I was getting interested in ministry during that time, and so I did it on a whim. I had no idea what I was getting into, and I go to this theology class, and I got shook. I was shook.
Oh yeah,
I was. I didn't know. I had this like idea that there was this like deep knowledge, like this secretive kind of deep knowledge about God. And I was like, golly, is this, am I allowed in? That was really,
it's not really secretive knowledge. It's not like
that was my
back.
perception of theology, though. It was like, am I allowed into this? Am I encroaching on a territory I'm not actually allowed into, you know? And I felt like a trespasser.
Oh yeah.
But not in like not in the sense of like imposter syndrome, but in the sense of like this isn't for people to hear about, to know and stuff. And
You're a default Roman Catholic almost.
I was.
Sorry if you're Roman Catholic. That was a joke.
Yeah,
Don't.
That was a joke.
Yeah.
I learned the value of it quickly and loved it, fell in love with it. And it was such a benefit spiritually. But at first it was distressing.
Yeah. Theology didn't distress me because I was very curious. My Bible classes distressed me early. Yeah. Because of how the talk about inspiration
Oh, really?
flipped me out. Because I'd never thought
We're
of
going
it.
to get there in this conversation today.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about, here's where we're starting with. We're starting with a very classic, starting in a very classic way. There's people start the theology conversation in lots of different ways. Some people start with the Bible. Some people start with the Trinity. Some people start with like, who is God and things like that. And I think the best way to start it, especially when you're talking to an audience you don't know all of, like we don't know everyone who watches this. If we're starting with our church people, we might start it differently, just with our church people. But we're starting with, there are some people we don't know well out there listening to this podcast. We're going to start with a thing called, you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Prolegomena.
Prolegomena.
What
Look,
a
don't
word.
turn off.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
what is that?
Yeah. It's a word that theologians invented so that we could sound fancy.
Yeah. It's a prologue is what it is. If you ever read a book and there's an epilogue and a prologue, is what comes before the first chapter and the epilogue's at the end of the last chapter.
It is theology's attempt. In philosophy, you cannot begin a debate before you define your terms, right?
Yeah.
Or you'll wind up talking about stuff and you're saying the same words, but you're talking about different things.
That's right.
So theological prolegomena is to say, hey, I'm letting you know up front, we're kind of defining our terms while we're doing this.
That's right. And it's really important because there are lots of people who study theology that come from it for different reasons and different perspectives. So there's you could enroll at Oxford or Yale or Princeton, Columbia, lots of different universities, and you could say, I'm going there to study theology.
Yeah.
And you can do that as an atheist, non-believer with no regard towards like God at all.
Just curious about it, like anything else. Like somebody goes, they're like, I want to be a biologist because I'm just curious about, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right.
I think amoebas are fascinating.
Fascinating. And you're thinking people's opinions about God are fascinating to me, and you're studying that. You might write books and
like
teach
anthropology.
Yeah, exactly. And those people do that, and they write books, and they teach at universities and things.
Yeah, that's probably the majority.
Yeah, of those teachers, probably. Yeah, of the secular universities for sure. The places that they end up are very different from where we end up when the conclusions you make about what God is like and how people can be redeemed or what the purpose of the world is. All those things, those conclusions are vastly different, and it's because their prolegomena is different.
Yeah,
like their starting point is different. And so we want to set up our starting point and define our terms, like where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And the very first thing, the very first idea that establishes our theology is very simple, very, very simple. It's that there is a God.
Yeah.
There actually is a God, right?
Yes. We come from that place. I was thinking about, I don't know if you want to talk about this,
what?
But there is like I said, theology and philosophy are twin brothers. And one thing that they talk about in prolegomena sometimes, in theology in general, is there are things you have to presuppose, like presuppositions, that we're going to say we don't have to prove this.
Yeah.
Like we are accepting this as fact because there are certain things in the world that we will just say, you can't go out and prove it like a mathematical formula. We're just going to assume it. And everybody has these presuppositions in their life.
We could do that. Yeah, let's do that. So
is that William Kuyper?
Yeah,
what was his name?
before we get to there is a God, you're right. There's a question here.
Yeah.
Can I know anything?
Can I know anything?
Can I
this goes back to enlightenment, right?
Yeah.
What is this, Descartes? He said, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
Which some people have critiqued him and said, really, what he should have been saying was doubt is occurring.
Yeah.
And therefore I am.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but the fact, can I know anything? And Descartes famously got to where he was like, I cannot deny that I'm having thoughts.
Yeah.
And therefore I exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that is goofy, but that's what theologians and philosophers do. They try to go back to the most basic thing and principles, and like, you do this as a freshman in college, right? It's like, how do you know you're not a brain in a vat somewhere in China just being stimulated?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I may not can know that, but what I can know is that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And that no one's thinking for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So can I know things? Is there a truth? Is there a real that's the question to start with. And these are things that we don't have to prove. It's like, because the proof is that we do it. Mm-hmm. I am thinking
it's either we don't have to prove it, or we're going to not do that because it would take us too long, and we're just going to assume some things.
Yeah.
And if you want to have this conversation with us, we're going to lay out these assumptions so we don't have to spend forever telling you why we believe there is a God.
Yeah.
Just start with us at there's a God.
Yeah. We are going to talk about why we think there is a God. That's one that I think is worth discussing. I don't think it's worth discussing if we think or not, if we can know things or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if this is a simulation.
Yeah, the simulation. I think that's bogus stuff. Like,
it's fun. Brain exercise, but like as far as the impact in your life,
it's super impractical. Yeah. Like there's not a more impractical discussion.
They're not going to let you out of the simulation, okay?
Yeah,
even if you figure out you're in one.
That's right. There's two
whoever
things
they are.
These two ideas, these two discussions are the most impractical, useless discussions you'll ever have in your life. They might be fun for you, but the most useless, impractical. And it's number one, the simulation theory, and number two, multiverse. Both of them completely impractical. If they can never affect you, because
if you get sad, you could just lay down at night and think, somewhere in the world, I am the king of North America.
But you could also think somewhere in the capital U universe, actually 50% of them, I am doing way worse than I am now.
Yeah. Or I may never have existed.
Yeah,
some of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it don't matter.
It don't matter. It's a dumb conversation.
Unless you're writing sci-fi, then it can be fun.
Yeah, our starting point is there is a God.
Yes,
we believe that there is a God.
Yes,
that's going to be foundational to all of the things that we discover and articulate and conclude in theology. Is that there is one, there is a God to study, to think about, and to reflect upon. How do we know there's a God, though? Are there some arguments?
Lots.
There's a ton of them.
There's
really good ones.
Yes.
That provide the foundation for us being able to assert there is a God.
Yes. So, do you want me to name some of them? Or?
Yeah. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
I have a really kind of love-hate relationship. Not hate. That's too strong. But I have a weird relationship to proofs about God. I'm not sure how persuasive they get to people, but I have some favorites. There is the complexity of life argument. Basically, you're walking in the woods, and who was it? Was it Tom B? What was that guy's name? You're walking in the woods, and you find a watch, and it's super complex, and the thing is still running. When you pick it up off the ground, your immediate assumption would be there has to be a watchmaker.
Yeah, because
this didn't grow off a tree root or something. And so when you look at the complexity of life and what I like to say, the general weirdness of existence and thought, that there must be a creator is this thing it's too finely made to have just it's the numbers are astronomical. So there's that one that's pretty good.
If you want to look it up, it's called the teleological argument. What a name. Yeah. And it's because it's about the telos is like the end.
Yeah.
Like and the idea is that you're looking at the end product all the time, and there's assumption about how it got there. Right.
The one that affected me most when I was a agnostic, like atheist sort of, was the existence of real morality.
Oh, yeah, the moral argument.
The moral argument, I think, is powerful. It was for me.
Yeah.
That the idea that we can say this is wrong everywhere and always
Yeah.
is a statement that is not a physical fact.
Yeah.
It is a spiritual assumption.
Yeah.
And I think, I really think that's, I keep saying, I think atheism has seen its heyday already. I really think that that's what the Achilles heel of the atheist movement is trying to ground an objective moral argument.
Yeah.
Because where do you put it? Because if
Explain that. So the idea is like that.
the idea is, if you say murder is wrong everywhere and always,
Yeah.
it's wrong to murder, or torture, it's everywhere and always wrong to torture. Well, you can't derive that from evolution.
There's no DNA.
there's-
in genetic, code that's like that's writing it down in your mind for
Yeah.
that. It doesn't work that way.
No,
Yeah.
it's so if you're watching the Discovery Channel or something, and you're watching a show about leopards, and a young male leopard crosses a older leopard's territory, and that leopard kills the young leopard, you don't look at that and go, dude, we gotta convene the court of monkeys and judge this leopard for murder. But if a child climbed my fence and got in my backyard, a young man, 14, and I got a hammer and I knocked his brains out, we would 100% convene a court to say this is wrong. We shouldn't be knocking kids in the head with hammers.
Yeah.
So why is that? And the best that you can look up Sam Harris. He probably does the best for the atheist. But you say, well, we've agreed on it as a society that we will prosper better if we don't murder. Yeah, but evolution says it's the survival of the fittest, right? And we the real goal is to pass on our genetics. So how do you say, when you have an entire group of people, like the massacres in Rwanda, where one tribe massacres another, it definitely benefits them
Yeah.
as far as their survival.
Yeah.
Or how do you get upset? It always goes back to Nazis, right? How do you get upset with Nazi Germany if everyone agreed, except the people getting killed, of course, but once they're killed, their opinion no longer matters?
Yeah.
When you mass genocide of people.
Yeah.
So where is the moral leg to stand on, like an objective morality? And it's really tough from atheism not to argue. At the end of the day, really, might makes right.
Yeah.
And that is what it is.
Yeah, that's most people's conclusion if they wallow in new atheism long enough, in atheism in general long enough. That's their conclusion, that might is right.
Yeah,
might isn't like power is right. Yeah.
Power is right, and we're just trying to, negotiate power away from certain people so that we can thrive, and it's better for general thriving. But if you get a guy who says, "I do not give a crap about your thriving. I only care about my thriving and the things about my people that my tribe thriving." So you can't actually stand there and say I'm immoral.
Yeah.
And especially if I win.
Yeah. It's deeply dissatisfying to people, like like dissonant to their experience.
Yeah.
Like, because I think of like some of the Sam Harris he's like this atheist that makes these arguments about morality.
We say it because he's probably one of the best proponents trying to ground an objective morality in an atheistic worldview.
Yeah, and so he makes his case and everything. I always think like, that has so little explanatory power for people's lived experiences, because like we've gotten kind of close to the special needs community, and it makes no sense. He makes no sense at all that our society has thought to themselves, it's better, we're all better, and everyone thrives more when we support and spend half of our entire nation's budget supporting these families and these children. And like, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you're a liar. Like, you're a liar. Like, you don't think that actually. What actually you think is, I want to. I care about them. Right? That's their people's lived experience. Is like, there's something in me that cares about their struggle.
Yeah.
Like it's not this societal. Our society is better and easier and flourishing and stuff. It's harder work.
Yes.
It's so much harder.
So much harder.
Like,
and,
you
and,
can-
you know, this
yeah.
these kind of talks is like, what do you do? And this is real
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, you get pregnant, you take your wife, they do a little blood test, and they say, oh, this baby has Down syndrome.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to terminate the pregnancy?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, it's what are we doing?
That's the atheistic worldview.
Yeah.
I mean, quick to go
Where
to
do you,
euthanasia.
I'm not trying. A lot of atheists say, no, you shouldn't do that.
Why?
But why?
Why?
Why shouldn't
Why do you do that?
Yeah, why?
And they don't have a good answer.
No.
And I'd say the answer is that the image of God is calling out to you. This is inside of you. Is calling out to you. This person is of utmost value.
Every person has value.
Yep.
For what reason?
Yep.
And so we ground it in, let's just be fancy all day.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
call it the Imago Dei,
The image of God.
the image of God.
Yeah.
And the reason we use all these fancy words is because theology is older than our language.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
much older than English.
Yeah.
So it's not, we don't say prolegomena and Imago Dei and these things just because we're snooty. But these discussions have gone on longer than there's been English.
Yeah.
And so it's
They're all Latin terms
they're all
because
Latin
this
or
started
Greek.
in
Yeah.
Latin and
Right,
Greek and
right.
stuff. Yeah.
So anyway, they have to do their homework and they have to ground the reason where they can insist on a morality. And hey, a lot of atheists, their credit, will say morality is kind of an illusion. We admit it.
Yep.
They will say that straight
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. A lot of them will.
Yep. And
And-
in fact,
Yep.
because there's no spiritual.
Yeah.
One of the I don't know if this is part of it, but one of the tricks that like Ricky Gervais likes to do, and it drives me
He's an
nuts.
atheist.
He's an atheist, and he's hilarious, and I love him. Lord save Ricky Gervais. I would love that. Anyway, he likes to go on shows and say, you're a Christian, you believe in one God, and there's 10,000 gods out there. He says, really, we're very similar. You've rejected 9,999 gods, and I've just rejected 10,000. So, that makes us not that far apart. And I'm like, actually, bro,
I mean,
I have way more in common with a pagan who believes there's 3,000 gods than an atheist who believes in none.
yeah.
Way more in common. Because you have absolutely, completely ditched the spiritual realm and everything is physical.
Yeah.
There is no more spiritual world. Even your brain thoughts have nothing to do with spirit. It's just a series of chemical reactions that have no, it's just kind of weird, but
Yeah.
it's not real.
Yeah, you're the
It's
result
a
of
physical,
billions of atoms smashing into each other, and
and it has no meaning.
it has no meaning, right?
None. You have the illusion of it thinking it has meaning.
It's deeply unsatisfying to people. And it doesn't.
Because it's deeply wrong.
It's deeply wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think a couple weeks ago we talked about how the moral argument for God exposes a thing called nihilism.
Yes.
That the meaninglessness of life. Everything is meaningless, and you should become a pirate. Essentially, is what is the
Take all you want and give nothing back.
yeah. That is the end.
That was what's the name from Pirates of the Caribbean
Yeah,
said that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. Yeah, he's a nihilist. Yeah. So that's one of the arguments. That's a good one. My favorite argument is probably the cosmological argument,
Okay.
the uncaused cause.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that is the one that's probably the, I don't want to say highest argument, but it's the most philosophical probably and most tested.
it is. It's the most tested, and it's the one that I think has the least rebuttal to
Yes.
it. It actually really has no rebuttal to it. And so the idea is this: that you say, where did this can of Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar come from? Right? Where did it come from? And you could talk about the aluminum being dug from the earth, and you could talk about the aspartame or whatever is in it, and the water and the carbon dioxide, and you talk about all the different things to it, and then you say, well, where did that come from? Well, it's like, okay, 4 billion years ago, the earth was a hot ball of lava, and there were atoms from matter from the sun and all this kind of stuff. Where'd that come from? How'd that get there? Well, the sun was doing all this stuff, and where'd the sun come from? And you just keep on going back. You take every single thing back to the very beginning, and you get to this idea that the natural historians, natural scientists have called and cosmologists have called the Big Bang, right? And that there was a moment where everything emerged out of nothing and exploded out of nothing. And they've scientifically mapped this out. Like you can see the expansion of the universe from this one singular explosion. And you have this idea called the Big Bang. And the cosmological argument lands all the way in that. And it says, God did that. That is God. Like who, and so
this is older than Christianity, by the way.
Yeah,
the best expression of this, it was not Aristotle talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Kalam, is it? It's an Arabic
the
guy.
Kalam
a
cosmological
Muslim.
argument.
Yeah.
He
Wasn't he a Muslim?
He's a Muslim, which was after Christianity.
Yeah, that was.
But his articulation of it is like the most famous. Yeah, and so the idea is that things have to come from things, right? There's a first cause, an uncaused cause, and that is God. That's the existence of God.
Yeah,
is that
Aquinas did this.
Yeah, he started it all.
Yeah.
And so the way it looks in the modern world is like we would say, well, God is the God of the Big Bang. Like he created that. And when people talk about the Big Bang, they're talking about the creation of all things from nothing.
Yeah.
And so that's I think probably the most convincing argument of a God, that there is a God, is you have to explain the existence of things, right? Where did this stuff come from? And the naturalist or the new atheist, they have nothing for this. There's like nothing. And they actually, their closest arguments, the best they can do is to kick the can down the road.
Say who caused God?
Who caused God?
They try to say this is a logical fallacy of infinite regression.
Yeah.
You're just who makes God and who does this? We'll just keep going back.
So
it's like,
they
no.
but we can do that too. It's like you kick the can down the road. There still has to be an
There's still a
uncaused
can.
cause. Yeah,
The can is the beginning.
Yeah.
Or you say, it doesn't work because God is fundamentally different in nature than the physical reality in which we live. That's the whole point.
Yeah, they will run into what's called like a definition fallacy, a fallacy of definitions, where the Christian would say God created that thing, and they would say, who created God? And we're like, no, you can't do that. That's a definition fallacy. The definition of God is an uncreated being. And so you can't break
So
that.
then they'll have to either say, well, the universe is eternal.
Yep.
I think that's where Stephen Hawking tried to wind up in his book, his last book. So they have to say the universe is eternal, matter is eternal, and it's just going boom,
and which is
boom,
one of the most
over.
unscientific claims ever.
Yeah,
like eternality does not exist in nature.
We know that there is a death to the universe.
Yeah, infinitude. Like when we say infinity, is not real. Okay, it's a mathematical concept to describe a circle.
It's a philosophical concept.
Yeah, to describe a circle. That's the use of its curvature. It's a mathematical term to help you deal with curvature. That's what infinity is.
Infinity. You can tell it this way. So there's more than one infinity.
Yeah.
So how many numbers are there?
Well,
infinite. Well, how many odd numbers are there?
Yeah.
There's the same amount of odd numbers as there are regular
that's
numbers.
right.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
But
but
somebody out there went, what does this have to do with God? Everything you should believe.
If people say that the universe is infinite, it's like, no, it's not. There is a number of atoms. There is a amount of energy, like a set amount of energy, and atoms and matter and all those things, right? There's no real world, like when I say like physical demonstration of infinitude, right? So there is like a set amount of all these things,
except for human creativity.
Well, no, that's again, doesn't count, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that
Because
you have
physical.
to get out of the physical world to find a true infinitude.
Yeah, that's right. But physically, there's no infinity.
No.
Right? And so that's what a lot of the secularists would say is like, well, the universe is infinite. Well, like, you just left it all behind. Like and it's such a cop out. Or they would say some of them, that's where they get the multiverse theory. Well,
But-
it's the same problem.
Yeah.
Who created the multiverses?
Yeah.
Right?
It's but this, honestly, at the end of the day, this is why I said I have a love-hate relationship with these things, because I think if you present the cosmological, teleological, all these arguments for God, and you could show that there must be something, like there's 2 + 2 is 4. It's plain as day. I don't know that it really moves the needle towards people in unbelief to belief.
I don't think it's the purpose of it. Can't be the purpose of it. This is for Christians to understand their faith,
To
right?
understand truth.
Their prolegomena. This is our prolegomena. And
It might bug people to the point where they look for,
Yeah.
like, ooh. I mean, it worked for me, but it wasn't because somebody sat down and was like, 2 + 2 is 4, and I went, aha,
yeah,
my bad.
yeah,
I became troubled in my spirit,
yeah.
not in my brain.
Yeah, that's right. So
It troubled me greatly that people could do tremendous wickedness, die, and pretty much get away with it.
yeah,
I mean, if there's no God, the worst scoundrels you can think of, if they shoot themselves like Hitler did in his bunker, he pretty much got away with it.
yeah,
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah. It's, again, deeply unsatisfying.
Deeply
to
unsatisfying.
reality.
We have ingrained in us, for some reason, we can talk about
Yeah,
this idea of justice, and there is evil and there's good. But the famous atheist argument is, if God is all powerful and God is good, evil exists.
we're going to talk about
Therefore,
in a minute.
there's no God.
Yeah,
They like to do that.
we're going to talk about the problem of evil because this is related. So we have these arguments for God. There is a God, right? That's number one for our prolegomena is that there is a God, right? It's our first things. The second item for our prolegomena is that the God has something to say.
Yes, he speaks.
Yeah, he speaks.
That was when I first got saved.
Was your
When I first
email
became
address.
a Christian,
Yeah.
that was my email address.
You
I'm
still
not
have
giving
that
it.
one.
I still do. It's my spam box
Yeah,
now
yeah.
because it is 40 years old almost.
Yeah.
No, 35 years
Yeah.
old. Anyway, because that was essential to my journey.
Yeah.
Was that he speaks.
He speaks.
He does.
And that's
People thought I was talking about me. I was not.
And so this is really an argument against deism. So deism is if you're hearing me and you're like, wonder what was he saying? It's deism.
Yeah,
deism.
it's what a lot of the American founding fathers
Yeah.
get accused of.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Some of them were.
So Thomas Jefferson was a deist.
Yeah, Franklin might have been.
Yeah. And the idea is that they believe that there was a God. There is a
Yes,
God.
There's a God.
Who created the world. They agree with the cosmological argument and the teleological.
Yeah, he made everything, but he don't care.
Yeah, but he doesn't care.
He just set it up like a cuckoo clock or something.
It's like the
and
divine clockmaker is what
Yeah.
they call it.
and he left it. And he's like, there we go. See
God
ya.
does not intervene is
Yeah.
the idea. And so it's called deism. And those arguments for the existence of God can get you there.
Mm-hmm.
But they cannot get you to the place where you would say God speaks, that God has said something, that God cares, that God has communicated with humans. And there are some arguments for that. Okay, the first argument for or against deism and for the existence of a God who speaks and says things is the moral argument that you brought up. So God, because they would be, a deist would say God is not a moral governor.
Yeah.
Right? He has created it and it's hands off. Right? He's not a moral governor. Right? Yet we have moral absolutes. Right? What's the purpose of a moral absolute without any care from the God who created it?
Right. You can't say that he abandoned us to his little play experiment or whatever it was they think he was doing, and yet left divine fiat rules.
Yeah.
Do not break these rules.
Yep.
That means he is intervening.
Yeah. It means he
It
cares.
means he's speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if he weren't, quote, present, he's still speaking.
He's speaking
Yeah.
in those absolutes.
Yes.
Right. he is present in the
Yes.
absolutes that he's created,
Yes.
right?
You can see him, you can hear him
Yeah.
in
The
those
way
absolutes.
what we say is that so a deist is against special revelation, but there are two God has written two books.
To me,
Yeah.
the deism is contradictory on its face.
Yeah.
Because when they say God made all this stuff and he left, you can say, how do you know that?
Yeah, that's
You
right.
say, well, the creation, okay, he spoke.
Yep.
And that's but from the Bible.
Yeah. There are God's written two books.
Two books.
We would say the scriptures and also our creation. And so in Romans 1,
So we call it
attests to this.
natural and special revelation, or
Yeah.
they may not call it natural revelation,
They do.
general revelation,
revelation, yeah.
special
Yeah,
revelation. One of the two. But yeah, there's two
Yeah.
different ways God speaks. Natural.
And so those moral absolutes are him speaking. Is a communication.
So when you say murder is wrong everywhere and always, you are speaking the word of God.
You're saying God thinks murder
God
is
thinks
wrong. Yeah,
God thinks murder wrong.
Yeah. So that's the first argument against deism. The second one is actually the problem of evil.
Yeah.
It's the problem.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, the problem of evil is thrown at Christianity mercilessly.
Well, any form of Islam or whatever.
And so articulate it again. Go ahead and articulate that
So
again.
basically it is their argument, they would say there is a God and he is all powerful. Okay? Then they would say good exists. Evil exists. Therefore, God either does not exist or he's not all powerful. Because the assumption is if God is good, one of the premises is that God is good. If God is good and he's all powerful, the existence of evil means either he's not all powerful or he's not all good. So the assumption is an all powerful, all good God would prevent all evil. And the fact that there are child rapists out there and murderers and whatever your favorite form of evil, gross wickedness is, when you think about it, that means there's no God, because a good God would never let a child be raped.
Yeah.
And if either he's powerless to prevent it or he's not good.
Yeah, good enough to prevent it.
Or he's not good enough, or he's evil.
Yeah, or he's exactly.
Yeah,
right.
he's not the good God you think he is, kind of thing.
And it's a caricature in Christian theology. It's not. It doesn't. It takes a caricature of Christian theology, and that's what it's interacting with. The problem of evil, because it doesn't interact with the facts of Christianity. In that God has created, He has created a police force for the world to eliminate evil. All right. It's called humanity. Right? That's the whole purpose from the get-go. It's like you're to rule over the creation, right? So that's one of them. One of the issues that the problem of evil doesn't deal with the facts of Christianity. It also doesn't deal with the fact of mercy in that there is the problem of evil is everyone's problem, because everyone says, why doesn't God intervene and take out evil and without realizing that means you.
Yeah.
You're all gone.
Well,
right?
Yes.
And so God is merciful and therefore extending judgment. And so the other idea is that, so if God, the issue with the problem of evil and how it doesn't interact with the facts of Christianity is that one of the main points of Christianity is that God will destroy all evil.
Yes. So that's kind of what I don't like to argue with people about. I want people to think. And one of the things I say is evil exists and is horrible. But you need to we believe as Christians that one day all wrongs will be made right.
Yeah.
Okay? And you say there is no way that child rape and mass murder can never be made right. And I would say that's just a lack of imagination.
Yeah.
Just because you don't think something can be put right doesn't mean it can't be put right.
And Brad doesn't mean that you will see one day that it was right.
No,
that's not what he means.
No, I mean that there, like, we can see it if we regress the evil back to something not quite so evil.
Yeah.
So if a guy comes and he steals the fuel out of my tractor, and that's a big deal now because diesel's like $5.50 a gallon. He steals $50 worth of fuel from me, and we catch him.
Yeah.
and we go to court, and the judge says, "All right, you stole the fuel. You're going to pay a fine to the man you stole from. You sold $55 worth of fuel. You're going to pay him $200." And I'll be like, "This is settled."
Yeah.
That doesn't mean what he did was okay,
No.
and my time was inconvenienced and a lot of other stuff. But I could walk away with that going, justice was served.
Yeah.
It's a little harder to see how that's possible with greater evil, but what I'm saying is it is possible.
Yeah, it is.
And
Both in the punishment and the reward.
and punishment and the reward for the sufferer.
Yeah.
The second thing is, I like to push back ever so gently, is, do you agree that there's evil?
Yeah, that's right.
Like, does this bother you?
Yeah.
Whatever it is you're bothered about. Like, this evil exists, therefore there's no God. The problem with in my opinion, the conundrum of the problem of evil is it is a self-defeating argument. So the moment you remove God from the equation and say, if God were real, there would be no evil. If there were no God, there would be no evil.
Yeah.
You can't make these moral, absolute pronouncements without that part of the equation.
Yeah.
And so once you've said there's no God, then you've also said there's no evil.
Yeah.
And that's that. You don't want to go there because that's what made you mad in the
And
first
you're all
place.
pirates now again.
Yeah, it's like that's what upset you in the first place, is that you've looked out there and said this is wrong, and if I were God, I would take care of it. And so God doesn't take care of it, therefore there is no God. And then I want to say, what are you so upset about then?
Yeah.
Because you've made a godlike pronouncement.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. And I think it is the image of God in you crying out that these things are wrong.
Yeah, and so the argument that the problem of evil is an argument against deism because it does not integrate with your lived experience, right?
Yeah.
That even as you talk about that there is no God who would speak to you, all you're obsessing about are the things that he said.
Yeah.
Which is that
There's
this is
no
wrong.
God.
Yeah.
There's no God, and I hate his guts.
Yeah, it's those are the problems, the arguments against deism. So there is a God, and that God has said something, right? That he speaks things, right?
Yeah.
And the next part of the prolegomena is, what did he say? Right? That's the big question. It's like, so that comes down to which God. That's when you look at the historical landscape of humanity, you're asking, which one is it? Which religion? Which set of texts? How do I know which is the right one?
There's a quote from an Oscar Wilde play.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Which
it's
one?
so weird. He wrote a play about Pilate. I think it was about Pilate.
Oh wow.
It's been a long time, man. I'm reaching back. I don't know why it's popped in my brain. But one of the kings, I can't remember if it's Herod or who it is, hears that Jesus is resurrected from the dead, and he's livid. And he says, "Where is Jesus of Nazareth? I want to speak to him." And the servant says, "That's a very difficult thing to do, my lord, because he's everywhere, and we can't find him." Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like he did it much better because he's a famous playwright.
Salome.
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 Yeah,
Salome.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's the
Salome.
play. Yeah. Did you pulled it up?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't call that from your brain. But
No, I pulled it.
Is the quote in there?
I don't see the quote. Just
Yeah,
right here.
yeah, but anyway, in that play, he says that. He says he's very difficult to find because he's everywhere.
Yeah, I see the little apostrophe over the E.
And so it's like the cry of the atheist and the deist is that, where is God? We can't find him. It's like, bro, he's everywhere. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Everything you think and say and see is screaming at you that there's a God. Even the feelings of being angry that there is no God is an indication that there's a God.
Yeah. So which one? That's the next piece of the prolegomena is whose religious claims are correct.
Of course we're right.
Yeah. But we have reasons for that
Yeah.
too, right? So you have there are a lot of ways you can play this out.
But look, that's not an arrogant statement.
No.
It is, if someone is running around saying 2 + 3 is 4, the person who corrects them and says 2 + 2 is 4 is not an arrogant person. They might be arrogant,
Yeah.
But as we love to say, or people love to say, the facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
There is a correct answer,
Yep.
even if a bunch of people are wrong. It's like the Albert Einstein quote. Somebody wrote, there were like 99 scientists who got together and they said, we've written this thing. 99 scientists are saying you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And Albert Einstein famously said, if I'm wrong, it would have only taken one.
Yep.
Because it doesn't matter how many people are right or how many people are wrong. The
Yep.
fact is there is a correct answer. And if someone gets that answer, they're not arrogant for saying, wait, guys, this is the answer.
Yep. So one of the ways you do this, or we'll say this, one of the things that are the common cultural sentiments out there is that all religions are right.
Yes.
You've heard this, right? All religions.
It's like God is a giant elephant, and we're all just touching different parts and describing different things.
Yeah. So like the Christians touch the trunk and they say, oh, this is like a what do they? I don't know. What do they say?
Yeah,
Big snake, a boa constrictor, or something. And the Mormons are grabbing the leg of the elephant like this is like a trunk, and they're all describing this different piece of God, but they're all right. They're all talking about the same thing. And that holds up literally zero. Like it holds no water at all. Right?
It might work for paganism.
Yes.
Yeah, it will work for paganism.
Only like mutual cultural paganism. Like we're talking Norse to Greek to Roman to Egyptian.
Yeah, they're
right?
because their gods are describing aspects of reality, like love, hate, and toilets.
And
there was a god of sewers.
They were all trading the same cultural ideas.
Yeah, like
right?
the Romans,
Jupiter and Zeus, right?
Zeus, Ares and Mars.
And they brought Egypt into it eventually too. They were all doing it together.
Because he's the god of death, so he's just got a different name.
Yeah, that's right.
It does not work for Christianity.
No.
It doesn't work for Christianity and Islam.
It doesn't work it doesn't work for your lived experience of a moral lawgiver, right? And so this is where it comes down is like the reason all the religions can't be the same is because they all make contradictory claims to one another.
We literally claim that they're wrong.
Yeah, we claim they're wrong.
Yeah.
And even if you look past like just the claim of exclusivism, like this is an exclusive faith, right? And you look at like what's the moral vision for this religion, they're different.
Very, very
wildly different.
Wildly. The gods of paganism are basically human beings amped up and immoral.
Yeah.
Zeus was horrible.
They're all horrible.
He was a rapist.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yes. So
and disgustingly
that's
so.
very different than Christian than the Christian God, right? So those are incompatible. They can't be talking about the same thing.
It's wild that the myriad ways where they're incompatible.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's hard to even know where to start.
Yeah.
The idea that the Christian God is a God of love and that he pursues us first is in the face of paganism.
Yeah.
They are constantly trying to get their God's attention or get their attention off of them.
Yep.
Because they're not concerned with the individual. Their gods are not concerned with the individual.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're grumpy. They hate humans. They sometimes they do hate them.
Yeah.
They're like gnats.
Yeah.
Humans are like gnats, and it's like, oh Zeus, let me give you some bulls or something, and he's like, okay, he sacrificed like 47 bulls. I'll
do something nice for him.
I'll do something nice for him. But he's indifferent for the most part.
So you can't look at that and say, oh, they're all talking about the same thing. No, that's like intellectually dishonest.
And
like
their gods sin.
Yeah.
They do bad things. Like they would say,
evil.
Zeus will do evil sometimes.
They do evil.
Sometimes he'll do some evil.
You have the same deal with Islam. Their God is both good and evil.
Yeah, and he is not love.
He's not love.
Nowhere is Allah called love.
Yeah. So those are incompatible. Like
incompatible.
The Christian God's incompatible with them. You take the Hinduism, same issue with the pagans.
Yeah, our God, Jesus Christ, said himself he was the way.
The truth and the life.
Yeah.
He's the truth.
Yeah. And so you can't have a God saying I'm the only way and say, oh, well, he's the same one.
And
it's
so,
like, no.
And so you might say, okay, the outlier is the Christian God.
Yeah,
So he must be wrong.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, right. Intellectually,
Except for saying he's wrong.
Intellectually, though,
Yeah.
is what you mean. Is like, yeah, intellectually, okay, the Christian God is the wrong one. All the other ones are true. It does not explain your moral absolutes.
No.
You have these moral absolutes, and why? Because they're completely incompatible with the
You're
God
only
you believe in.
behaving because you're scared that a God's going to get upset with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Christianity starts with God upset with you
Yeah.
because you've done wrong.
Because he loves you.
Because he loves you, and you're supposed to
Yeah.
be made in his image. And
Yeah.
oh man,
there's some reasons that we would say it's very convincing that the Christian God is the true God out of all the other world religions, and the primary one is that, and this shouldn't be the linchpin for your faith or anything, but the primary was it is the only one that explains your life.
yeah,
It's the only one that adequately explains your life,
Yeah.
and your loves and your desires.
I think if you're honest, you can. If you're another faith, you can say I'm right. But most other gods in the world are extraordinarily petty, and you don't know at the end of the day if they're going to be pleased with you or not.
Yep.
You can't ever know. Even in Islam,
Yep.
you can't really know if God is pleased with you. And you can be in Islam, you can be a total turd your whole life, and God just be in a mood that day and be like, "Yeah, man, you can come in."
Yep.
It's super arbitrary and petty whether or not the gods care about you. You know, in Christianity, if you have the favor of God, and you know why,
Yep.
and you know you can never lose that thing.
That's right. And the Christian God is the best answer for justice. And there are a lot of reasons that describe that. Number one, it's the fallout of Christianity in the world has been greater justice.
Yeah,
It's an explosion of
we're not
justice.
saying Christians are perfect.
No, but we are saying that Christianity has produced the most just societies.
It makes things better.
Yeah. It has a true answer for evil. Whereas, you take the paganism, there is no, like, the gods themselves are evil. They do bad things all the time.
This whole,
Yeah.
in one way, this entire reality and existence is tainted and evil.
Yep.
Christianity says this existence is good.
And so the thing you ask somebody is like, why do you want what is good? Why do you want justice? Why do you reject evil? And it's because the Christian God is the true God who put that in your heart, right? That's the answer. You can't make that claim out of Islam. You can't make that claim out of the paganisms of the world. It doesn't fit, right? There's nothing about those religions that would produce
In
that.
those religions, maybe I could say it like this. There is no, and this is a philosophical thing we could talk about later. There is no correspondence between you and your God. There is no correlation. You are a gnat, and God is a God, and he's nothing like you. Nothing. Allah is nothing like a human being.
Yep.
And to even claim such a thing would be horrific blasphemy.
Yep.
In Christianity, we say we are directly related, we are his children, and we look like him.
Yep. So now you could say this, all right? So the rebuttal to this is, well, that sounds like Christianity is just the most convenient story. It's just the best told story. All the other ones, they didn't tell stories well, and they had these problems. But Christianity, they fine-tuned a great story
Yeah.
that corresponds to things I like and want.
Yeah.
Right? And that's all that is. And if there's a God, they might still be petty and terrible.
Yeah.
You just made up a good story.
Yeah.
And so what's the answer to that?
Like, well, it's better than a bad story.
Yeah.
No, if an all-powerful, omnipotent God were in any shape, form, or fashion evil or capricious or petty, we would be dead. There would be no people.
Yeah.
Because he would just wad it up and throw it in the trash
Many times
over. The fact that people long for justice, goodness, even if we disagree with what that outcome might be, the fact that it is in the soul, that God has set eternity in the soul, tells us something about the nature of God.
Yep.
And
That it is the best story
Yeah.
is an argument
for
in itself.
it. Yeah, it's an argument for it.
Yep.
If the story explains everything, if you've got a scientific theory about something that explains all outcomes, then you have it's not because you made up a
That's
convenient
rock
story.
solid.
It's
Yeah.
because you have said something that corresponds to, and this is only in Christianity. There is an actual reality.
There's a truth.
There's a truth. There's truth with a capital T. When I was in college, oh my goodness, I was an English lit major, and the mantra of that day was kind of postmodernism, and that there is no truth with a capital T. Truth is what you make it.
Yeah.
That makes me want to vomit now, and it made no sense then. I had a teacher one time that said we shouldn't, and you see this popping up in culture, and that's why we have a lot of the fruits of it are coming, to bear today because of these ideas. But he got in class and he said we shouldn't have lions and lionesses. It should just be lions. You shouldn't have actors and actresses. It should be just actors, because there's no truth and there's no reason to distinguish between gender, because it's not a real thing, and it's everything that exists is just stuff we made up. Dude, go away with that.
I mean, again, it's like it's so
But
contrary
people
to our
bought it.
existence.
This was the 90s,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
It's contrary to our existence. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Except to him. And actually, it's God talk.
It doesn't even make sense to him. It's just convenient for him.
Yeah.
It's because it allows you to become the pirate that you want to be.
Well, here's what it does. This is it. This is what people want. They want to be God.
Yeah.
And the only way that you get to be God, the only way to be the man is to beat the man.
That's right.
And so if you can get rid of God and you can use language and morality however you want, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And that's what it means to be God, right? You can do whatever you want. If you were God, dear listener, you would be horrible. The worst God ever.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad that one day I'll get better.
You know, the argument that the since Christianity is the best story, it's the right story. Tolkien made a similar argument to C.S. Lewis. In when C.S. Lewis was converting to Christianity. You heard the story, the true myth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And C.S. Lewis was really well read. And
he was an Oxford teacher of English lit.
He was one of the best readers, well-read people in the world, who's maybe ever existed when it comes to the classics. He knew the stories. He knew the myths. He knew the mythology. He knew the Greek. He could speak Greek and read it in Latin, do all the things. And for him at some point, there were too many correlations between the world religions in Christianity. And so it looked like, they're just taking things from everywhere. And it's like this amalgamation. And Tolkien made the point that, no, what it is that their heart longs for truth. And you should expect truth to shoot up like sprouts everywhere. And you see it in all over the world, all the cultures of the world, that there is a God, there is a deity, there is power, and there is something, right? Mm-hmm. There's a creator to please, right? Mm-hmm. And you see that all over, and you should expect to see those things all over, because you should see it all come into perfect harmony with Christianity.
Bro, even the story of the hero.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he would talk about, the hero.
Yeah, the hero story.
Yeah.
Why do we keep telling this story about a kid that had nothing? Mm-hmm. He was a nobody. Yeah. He might be an orphan or something. Yeah. And he grows up and he becomes awesome and he brings righteousness and becomes the king of the world. Why do we keep telling that story?
It's the true story.
It's the story where
so Tolkien says this is the true myth.
Yeah, the true myth.
And Christianity is the true, not using the word myth to say it didn't happen, but to talk about explanatory story.
Yeah, a myth is a story that's trying to explain why we're here, what we're here for, and what happened.
Yeah. So this is the true one.
The true myth.
Yeah. And so that is some of the things that bring you to the conclusion that the Christian God, Yahweh, of the God of the Old Testament and the New Testament, is the true God.
Yeah.
The next layer. What about the Christian cults?
What about them?
The Mormonism, Mormons, they're
regressive.
Yeah, that's right.
They've regressed to a kind of paganism.
Yeah, and that's the biggest evidence against it. Well, there's internal evidence to the scriptures of Christianity.
Yeah.
That would you see the incompatibility with them. But yeah, that's like the philosophical argument against them is that, well, they've gone backwards when it into paganism. Please the God, please the petty God,
Yes.
and you'll be rewarded.
And what's the reward?
Oh,
You get to be God.
you get your own pettiness.
Yeah, you get to be God.
Yeah.
You get to get your own planet, and you get to do with it what you
But
want.
you get to be your own pagan God.
Yeah.
And so with the paganism, right?
Yeah.
Without any of the
They kinda
character of God.
Yeah.
Right.
They reversed the paganism.
Exactly. So those are
probably- yeah.
that's the arguments against those Christian cults. I'm scare quotes on the Christian there. But that's what they're kind of called.
Yeah, we're very careful about who we would label as a cult. I think if you're Nicene Creed compliant and Chalcedon 451 compliant,
Yeah.
you're a Christian.
Those were confessions.
Confessions.
Yeah.
Basically, Nicaea tells us about the nature of God, and the Chalcedon Confession talks about the nature of Christ.
Yep. So, what we have so far, there's a God.
There's a God.
He has something to say,
He spoke.
and he did. He
did.
said, and our final result is that it's the God of the Bible. The things that he said are the Bible.
Yeah.
And so then the next level of the prolegomena in the theology is where we're starting to actually get to theology is can we trust the Bible?
Yeah.
Has the Bible preserved those words from God perfectly?
Yeah.
All right, that's the question.
Is that what we're going to do next week?
We might need to do it next week. I think we're
I
at
think
an
so.
hour right now.
Yeah, there ain't no way.
Yeah, I think so. Next week on the pod, we're gonna talk about how is the Bible these perfectly maintained and preserved words from the God who exists and speaks.
Yep. Listen, I want to say something weird.
Go ahead.
If your God does not trouble your conscience at all, if he's just a fun being or he's capricious, but he doesn't really trouble your conscience, you just got to appease him somehow, you are your God.
Yes.
I'm serious.
Yes.
God troubles me greatly. And what I mean by that is even today, I'm convicted about the person I am because I have an outside source to compare myself to, and I don't measure up. And it's not because he's petty or capricious. It's because he's solid, he's real, and he's love. And I don't measure up. And that's not just like some kind of weird, like, flagellating myself or it's a true fact of Christianity. And he's making me better, objectively. If only you could have known me yesterday. I finally made it today. About every 6 months, you look back and you think, God, I used to be terrible.
Oof. 6 months.
6 months, 6 days. Yeah, actually, sometimes you'll think you got something under control, and it pops up and rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
It is. You just hadn't had the right
Pressure.
Yeah, that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Man, it turns out I'm not good. I'm getting better. I hope.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thank you guys for hopping along, man. We're gonna do theology this season.
It'll be fun.
It's gonna be so much fun.
You're gonna be helped by it greatly.
Yeah, I think thinking about theology, reading, maybe not the reading about it, but talking about it has great benefit.
Yeah,
for you spiritually.
see, some of you may not have the opportunity. The best theology that is done, the whole reason you go to seminary is not for the class. You go to the class, and your professor drops these bombs on you, and you get confused. And then you go and you eat lunch with your friends, and y'all yell at each other about it. That's where real theology is done. Am I telling the truth?
Well, yeah. You're processing it.
Not yell at each other, but you're like, but what about? I mean, we did this yesterday.
But what about is one of the greatest questions ever.
Yeah. What about?
Yeah.
What about?
What about this?
And it does matter. It matters in how you view God, or maybe more importantly, how you come to understand God views you.
Yeah. Both.
Yeah, it's both. But
you're going to shake out
but
all
in
those
Christianity,
problems.
He cares about you.
He cares about. He loves you so much.
Yeah.
He's
It's
crazy
not a
about you.
passing
Yeah.
interest.
No.
The whole thing The creation itself is made to stick you in it,
Yeah.
to grow you up. I mean, if you ask Athanasius, we talked about this yesterday, to make you like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, everyone. Hey, we'll see you next week on the pod. Thank you so much for listening.